We recently launched our Helix 60-24x50 in first focal plane with the goal of bringing a first focal plane scope inside that $500 price bracket. Since we brought this out, it's attracted quite a lot of attention because of some of the design features that we've incorporated. So in this video, we're going to run through some of those design features. We're not going to do the usual what's in the box video that we did with some of our other models. Reason being is that this scope comes with exactly the same things in the box as the Helix second focal plane. So if you want to know what you get with your purchase, check that video out. We'll put it in the video description. Let's start off this overview by talking about the difference between first focal plane and second focal plane, because chances are you need to know that if you are choosing between the first focal plane Helix and the second focal plane Helix. From the outside, there's really no difference. The difference happens inside. A second focal plane scope will have the reticle towards the back end of the scope behind the zoom cell. And what this means is that when you turn your magnification in and out, your sight picture will zoom in and out, but the reticle will remain at the exact same magnification. This has its ups and downs. The upside of this is that your reticle thickness remains the same, so you can have it nice and fine. Bench rest shooters love this, F-class shooters love this, and it might be that this is the best way for you to go, in which case you'll want to check out our second focal plane Helix. The benefit of first focal plane is that the reticle is in front of the zoom cell. So when you zoom in and out, the reticle zooms with the image. The reticle on a first focal plane scope is more or less directly below these turrets. The benefit of that is that your reticle retains its subtensions at any magnification. So 1 milliradian is always 1 milliradian regardless of what magnification you're on. That makes it a preference for long range shooters, precision rifle shooters, because they never have to worry, is their reticle actually calibrated at the magnification they're at? The difficulty is trying to get the line thickness perfect. At minimum magnification, it might be really fine and difficult for your eye to focus on. At maximum, it may be a little bit too thick for your preference. But unfortunately, that is just one of the negatives of a first focal plane scope. So you're going to want to take a look at what our reticles look like at maximum and minimum, and decide from there what you think of them. We think we've got the reticle thickness pretty spot on. We spent a lot of time getting it perfect, and it's one of the reasons we don't want to push the magnification range of our first focal plane scopes too far. It's got to be usable at minimum, it's got to be usable at maximum, otherwise there's absolutely no point having those magnifications there. The Helix FFP has a 50mm objective lens and a 30mm main body tube. The reason we've gone with 50mm objective lens and 30mm main tube is that it costs a little bit less than a 34 or a 56. The downside is that this scope will not gather quite as much light as the Titan, for example, which has a 56mm objective lens, and you won't get quite as much elevation travel as you would in the Titan, which has the 34mm main tube. But what this has meant for us is that we've been able to keep it inside that $500 price bracket without sacrificing any quality when it comes to the things that really matter for precision long-range shooting, which is the mechanical components. You're going to get very, very precise mechanics, turrets, erector system, all of that when you purchase a Helix, and we have not had to sacrifice on that at all. We've worked very hard to make sure that we make the absolute best scope we can for under $500, and we're very proud to say that we've been able to get the tracking error down on the Helix to within 1%, which is absolutely mind-blowing for a scope in this price range. You don't often find that. And what this means is that you're going to be able to push the scope out to 1 kilometer, to 1 mile and beyond, and it's going to track and it's going to return to zero. Even if your glass is not as good as your extremely expensive German or Austrian scope, it's going to be able to keep up when it comes to putting that bullet where you want it for a tiny fraction of the price. The Helix first focal plane features our tool-free resettable turrets, which allows you to slip the scales back to zero without using any tools, and our hard mechanical zero stop, which means you can crank it as many revolutions you want and you're not going to lose your place. At the back, we have a fast focus eyepiece, which will allow you to adjust the reticle focus to suit your eye. We have a textured magnification ring that goes from 6 times to 24 times with a removable throw lever. So if you have a bolt throw that's close to your scope and you're worried about the bolt getting in the way of your throw lever or something like that, you can simply unscrew it, and there's a replacement flat hex screw that takes its place and fills that gap if you don't want the throw lever there. The parallax knob is on the side, and it goes all the way from 10 meters or yards to infinity. What this means is that you can put this on an air gun or a rimfire and bring it all the way down to very close range if you want to. And you can put it on a heavy recoiling rifle up to 50 BMG and send it really far. We do test all our scopes for 50 BMG recoil, so you don't have to worry about your scope failing. We put them on a machine which simulates 50 BMG recoil, and we repeat that shock test 500 times to check if there's any point of impact shifts or if anything's coming loose. So if you have the inspection sheet and it's signed, it means that it's passed that test. Now let's talk about reticles, because that's probably one of the biggest talking points about the Helix first focal plane. We've introduced 2 new reticles, one in milliradians or mil and one in MOA, both based on a very similar design. You may know about the APR 1D reticle that is available on our Nexus and Titan models. This reticle has been very popular amongst precision rifle and long range shooters, and we've decided to follow in the same vein with the Helix FFP and introduce the APR 2D, which takes into account feedback from many professional shooters, pro staff and critics from all over the world, and is a natural evolution of the APR 1D. Both the MOA and MRAD versions feature new tapered bars which appear the same thickness no matter what the magnification you're at. Both reticles feature a Christmas tree design with numbers that grow larger further down the tree, which allows you to read the lower numbers when zoomed out. If you've ever had to zoom your scope out to actually see the numbers right at the bottom of that Christmas tree reticle, you will know it's not fun having to count all the way down. That's why we've made those bottom numbers a little bit larger. Both reticles feature scales, with each line on the scale equaling 1 click, so 1/4 MOA or 1/10 of a mil, and this allows you to measure a target very precisely to calculate a range or to make an adjustment when zeroing. Both reticles feature floating center dots for a finer aim point, and a new system with large hashes, smaller hashes, and arrows to make counting on the reticle a little bit easier. To add to that, the MRAD APR 2D reticle has 0.2 MRAD dots instead of just 0.5. It's something that all the PRS shooters asked for, and we did it. Reticle guides are available as PDF downloads on our website if you want more information, and we'll put that link down below. The last thing you should know is that our scopes go through a pretty rigorous post-production inspection based on parameters that we have set ourselves. You must remember that our team consists of people who are still real-world shooters. We hunt with our own scopes. We compete in events all around the world. We have guys on our team who have served in the military for many years as snipers, being deployed in the Middle East. We know what a good scope is. So when you see the inspection tag on our scope that's signed, you know that this scope has gone through the tests that we have specified and that we consider to be the standard for precision rifle scope. And of course, we know that things can go wrong. So we back our products with a platinum lifetime warranty that doesn't require any registration. If something goes wrong, we will replace your scope or fix your scope. It's that simple. Thank you for checking this video out. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like this. And remember to use the hashtag #SeeItSendIt to tag us in your photos or videos. We love to see what you get up to. Thanks for watching.